say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. Thank you. Once again, we will take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you individually and all of you together collectively for the co-creation of this interaction and allowance of this transmission in this way at this time. Each and every time you allow us to experience through each and every one of you another facet of the multidimensional crystal of creation, it is a gift to us that expands our understanding of all the ways that creation can express itself. So we thank you for this gift of expansion you are giving to us. After your lunch period, we will continue a little bit further in discussion with the idea of the next stage of this and that. We will take that idea a little bit further, explore it a little bit more deeply in a new way. However, for now, we would like to simply open up to you in return for the gift you are giving us, the opportunity for sharing with your questions and answers and clarifications if any need to be given. So by all means, be bold, step up, and begin your sharing now, if you wish.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
April was talking about talking in your sleep, and that was what my question was about.
She was talking about the idea of the channel talking in his sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
However, I am also in a state of repose aboard my ship in order to help facilitate this transmission, which is basically a telepathic connection or link to the channel's mind, and thus then a translation of my thoughts through the channel as a biological translation device.
So my question about talking in my sleep is, the other night, my friend was sleeping in my room.
All right.
And he said in the middle of the night, he woke up and his hair on the back of his neck was standing up because he was afraid by what I was saying. And it sounded like to him it was 5 different conversations going on at one time, all kind of angry.
That's all? 5?
Yeah. So.
All right.
So that's happened several times where someone's reported that while I'm asleep. So I'm just wondering what's happening while I'm asleep.
Well, it can be several things. Number one, you can be processing certain ideas, belief systems, and experiences while you sleep. You can be arranging to have certain experiences in your dream state and in your sleep that will either allow you to reconfigure the template or blueprint of your physical reality experience and/or will be a substitute for the idea of your physical reality experience. In other words, you may be working certain processes and experiences out in your dream state that thus then makes it so you don't have to experience the manifestation of those particular things in your physical reality. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
You can also actually be having conversations out of body with other beings on other levels, other dimensions that may simply be translating through your body. If it is still strongly connected to the vibration of your spirit in that way, it may puppet or mimic what kind of an experience your spirit is having. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And it can be this and other things as well. The idea is for you to understand what is being said and to use that information, use whatever experience you are having in a way that you can apply it into your waking life, or I'll put it this way, your waking dream, and thus then give yourself the opportunity to download information in whatever way, shape, or form you need it for whatever kind of life experiences you need to have. That is also part of what is going on. You follow?
Yeah.
Does this answer your question, or is there another aspect of this idea you wish to discuss?
Can you tell me, are you able to tell me which one of those I was doing that night?
It's a combination of all things.
Oh, okay.
Remember, this and that.
Yeah.
Yes? Sometimes we understand that it can be more or less a specific thing. However, it is almost always a combination of things. What portion of it, what version of it, what level of it someone else may experience will be the level that's relevant for them, but that doesn't mean you're not doing other things as well that are relevant for you. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your question? Or again, is there something else you wish to explore about this idea?
So in the spirit of this and that, I don't have to assume that because it scared my friend and it sounded negative that it was.
Do you know what was said?
No.
He did not tell you?
It sounded like I was speaking in tongues, just.
Yes.
And not in English, a different language.
All right. Well, again, you may be making many different cross connections to many different dimensions of realities, or what you would call parallel reality lives, what you typically call past lives, future lives. You may be extracting information from them and processing them through yourself to find the bits that are relevant for this life here. You understand?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you're acting, in a sense, as your own channel. Now, the idea of being scared by it may simply be that that individual may have his own definitions, his own preconceptions, his own issues, his own ideas that are part and parcel of the integration in his consciousness that he needs to experience in his life. And it may simply be that that strikes the chords in certain negative belief systems or definitions that he has. It plucks those chords and causes the sensation of fear because he is not necessarily allowing himself to integrate certain things within himself that those sensations he's receiving from you cause him to be put in touch with more consciously. But that's all right. Anytime you access higher dimensional energy, it may cause fear within many individuals in your planet who are still functioning in a compartmentalized way in their psychology. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's all for the purpose of being used in a positive way. If your friend is capable of giving it a positive definition, then they will experience it in a positive way. If only a definition that is negative is given, it will only be experienced in a negative way because that's simple physics. What you put out is what you get back. Make sense?
Yes.
So you're functioning as a kind of reflective, multi-level mirror for your friend to give your friend an opportunity to decide how they wish to choose to define this idea, in what way is it relevant for them that they have attracted this experience into their lives. Make sense?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does.
All right. Does that suffice?
Yeah, I have one more question.
Oh, all right.
So the last transmission in Los Angeles last weekend,
Yes.
it was really exciting for me.
Oh, all right.
On it for a number of reasons, but I'd like you to tell us more about the 13 that came up down there, if you can.
The 13 was an idea presented that represents the fact that there are 13 human individuals that actually have extended lives or spend long periods of time aboard certain spacecraft. Only 13 live aboard spacecrafts that are extraterrestrial in origin for extended periods of time. This does not mean that other human individuals have not been taken aboard crafts for limited periods of time, but the 13 that we are referring to are 13 human physical individuals that actually experience life aboard the extraterrestrial crafts for extended periods of time, and their vibrational energy is actually symbolically connected to the 13 crystal skulls that also exist on your planet. The idea, therefore, is that these 13 act as a kind of an ambassadorial representational council of Earth to aid and assist in the balancing of energy, because as we aid and assist in the balancing of energy, and as other extraterrestrial societies also do that, it still requires an Earth-human component in order to have that side of the energy balanced. So these 13 act as the representatives to help balance out the energy. As the energy from us flows through them, it is translated, in a sense, into Earth frequencies that are more harmonious and more relevant for your particular experiential vibration. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So who are they?
I can't tell you that.
Okay. All right. Well, then that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
And to you, good day.
My question often is around my children.
Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share.
I said my question is often around my children.
And what question is that?
And with 2013 coming up and the possibility of the transition.
The possibility? You are all already in the middle of a transition and have been for quite some time, and this transition will continue well beyond the idea of your 2012 date.
Okay, so I guess my question would be if anything were to quickly or suddenly happen, or catastrophe,
yes,
or something of that sort, and I am not with my children.
Yes.
Will they be okay? Will they know what to do?
Each has chosen from spirit to experience certain things in your reality. Some will experience certain transitional elements in what you call a catastrophic way. At the same time, many of them that are born or brought in with the idea or fed diets of negative beliefs will use this opportunity for certain kinds of transformations and transitions to transform them in ways that are more reflective of what they prefer, more representative. Transmute them in ways that are more reflective and representative of who they prefer to be and what realities they prefer to shift into. Each individual makes these choices. And whatever it is that occurs and whatever it is they attract themselves to will be relevant and appropriate for those individuals. Please remember, you are all eternal, infinite beings. You never actually truly die, you just change. Make sense?
Yes.
Nevertheless, the idea is that if you are allowing yourself to focus more strongly on fear-based belief systems, that is usually what attracts the idea of needing to shake yourself awake, as opposed to having a smoother, softer transition. You understand?
Yes.
Are you getting the point?
Yes.
Thus then, do you need to be afraid?
No.
All right. Because you understand that even though they may be your children, incarnationally speaking, they are very powerful spirits that have chosen to experience certain things in their life for the purpose of the expansion of their souls. You understand?
Yes.
So whatever it is will be what you have taught them, what they have picked up from their society, and also what it is that is representative of the theme they chose to explore in this transformational age. Because by choosing to be born in this age, that's not an accident. And thus then, if you have given them the tools to understand that they are the creators of their reality, and you allow them access to their imagination and allow them to understand the consequences of choices and belief systems and definitions, then they will have all the tools they need to be fully equipped to handle any circumstance or situation in their life in exactly the way that they need to, yes?
Yes.
Have you done this? Have you given them the tools? Or have you passed along your own fears?
Probably passed along some of my fears.
Can you undo this?
I'm sure I can.
Is that exciting for you?
Yes, it is.
Then we would suggest that you follow your excitement to the best of your ability and share with them the opportunities and options they have to choose things that are not fear-based, not to invalidate the fear idea, not to invalidate the polarity, but to simply understand that if they balance all choices as equally valid, they will have the ability, they will experience their power to choose what it is they prefer. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does. I have one more question with them.
Yes.
I've always wondered where they came from, because
They come from Earth.
So they have.
Were they not born to you?
Yes.
What I'm saying to you is this question, where do I come from? Where do they come from? Is really an old-fashioned, outdated, outmoded understanding in metaphysical knowledge. You come from spirit if you want to have the idea of a specific origin point. You come from the source of all that is. But when you ask, where do I come from, implying another reality, another dimension, another planet, another civilization, you come from Earth because that's where you were physically born. What you're actually asking is, since all lives exist simultaneously, yes?
Yes.
Then if all things exist at the same time, how can you come from any place else to here? Do you understand?
Yes.
So you chose to have, your oversoul chose to have an extension incarnated as an earth life. At the same time, it has other extensions in other lives and other earth lives and other civilizations and other realms of reality altogether at the same time. So the idea, when you say, where do I come from, is actually another way of saying, in a more, shall we put it, modern context, what other simultaneously coexisting realities am I connecting to from this life that serve me in helping define the theme I chose to explore in this life? That's what you're actually saying. Because you don't come from anywhere in the past tense sense. You are making cross connections to all the lives that serve you in this life, even as all the other lives are making cross connections simultaneously to your experiences in this life to aid and assist them in downloading information that may be relevant for the experiences they are having in those lives. But it's all going on at the same time. Yes?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So, this is one of the things we are now aiding and assisting your world with in your exploration of spiritual and metaphysical concepts is the idea that some of your definitions are in many ways, shall we say, old-fashioned, outmoded, outdated. And the very definitions themselves can cause confusion within you because of the way you're framing your questions, the way you're framing your perspective, such as asking, where do I come from? When you understand that everything exists all at once, that question will be nonsensical. You will understand that you come from here and now, and you'll understand that any other place you sense, you're becoming more aware of. When you say, where do I come from? It's just the process of the fact that your consciousness is expanding to the point where you're becoming aware of more of the other places you are also connected to. It's just that many of you assume that when you make that connection, when you make that realization, that somehow that means you have come from there. All it means is you're becoming more aware of a connection you have to there. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
But since you have chosen in this life to come from Earth, the point of making those other connections is to allow yourself to become more aware, more conscious about all the information you are extracting from those other simultaneously existing parallel lives that is relevant for you, and applying that information, applying that energy, bringing it down to Earth. That's the whole point of how you aid and assist in the transformational age. Because when you talk about the idea of where do I come from, it can cause confusion in many of you that make you feel like you need to disconnect from the earth to get back home. Home is everywhere. You are eternal, you are infinite, you are everywhere, as all that is. Home is where you are. So the idea is that if you will streamline and modernize your definitions, it won't be about disconnecting from the earth in order to attempt to go to some place or reconnect to some place you think you come from that you judge to be better than where you are, which it isn't. It's just different. Thus then, by making all things equal and knowing it's a real-time, simultaneously existing connection, you can use that energy to bring that vibration. If you prefer the vibration that is represented by some of those other lives, you can bring that vibration through yourself into the earth and live that way as your version, your earth version of that other connection, that other life, that other being, and thus then allow the earth to see in you as a living example a reflection of an energy they can also choose for themselves. Is this making sense?
It is.
Does this help you?
Yes, thank you.
Why, thank you. But it'll say, let us continue the transmission in the following way. We have clearly already discussed the idea of transitioning from this or that to this and that. And we have actually also discussed to a great degree that there is actually a third component, a third step to this transformation. We did not label it as such, but we will do so now, so that the idea becomes clearer and clearer in your minds and clearer in your definitions about what this concept is about and how it can be appropriately applied in your reality. A full understanding, a full transformation, a full evolution of this concept would be that you recognize that your society has for quite some time been using step one, this or that. And we have now talked about the idea of step two, transforming this to this and that. The third step in this process is to understand, as we have discussed in a variety of ways, that step number 3 is this is that. It's all one thing. And that is the 3-step process to the idea of going from the experience of separation to the experience of integration. This or that, this and that, this is that. Because everything is the same thing from a different point of view, as we discussed. Summing it all up that way in that trinary format will allow you a very clear, simple permission slip reminder so that when you catch yourself, when you have a moment of pause and realize that you may be functioning in some negative way or some segregational way that doesn't necessarily serve you, because there are such things that do, as we said, but in a way that you don't prefer, in a way that doesn't really serve you, in a way that's not really aligned with your true self, your true vibration, you can stop and take a moment and remember this or that becomes this, and that becomes this is that. That way you begin to truly understand how to relate to all reflections, all forms of the reflection, whether they are in any way, shape, or form human or not. Because you can understand that the tree, in a sense, is you from another perspective. The rock is you from another perspective. The chairs you are sitting on are you from another perspective. It's all an extension of your consciousness. It's all taking place within your consciousness. There is no outside. There is no outside at all. It's just a reflection off of what we have euphemistically labeled the higher mind mirror. If you'll imagine the idea that your physical mind is encased within the sphere of the higher mind, then you can understand that the internal surface of that higher mind sphere is mirrorized and reflective, and thus then all you're getting back is another point of view of you, another experience and perspective of you, of your consciousness, in a different form, through a different filter, through a different idea of yourself. And as we have described many times, what we call the concept of the prime radiant, the idea that there is only one particle, and that particle, again, this is an analogy, moving around at infinite speed means that it can appear to be next to itself instantaneously, over and over and over again, appearing to be many particles interacting with each other, when in fact it's only one particle interacting with itself. And in that context, from that understanding, with that permission slip perspective, you can understand that the chair, even in physical terms, is literally made out of the same single particle as your body is in the ultimate time-sharing program. That particle zips around at infinite speed and thus can actually take the patterns of your body, the chair, the tree, the room, the floor, the sky, the clouds, the rocks, the animals, the sea, everything, and even into multiple dimensions of those things and parallel realities of those things all at once, and everything is thus then built from that same single particle. And I don't mean the same type of particle, I mean literally one particle. There is only one. Only one. And it, if you wish to again use this analogy, because it's only an approximation, as it zips around in a certain geometric pattern at infinite speed, it appears to be everywhere at once. And thus then it forms everything that there is, every reflection that there is within all that is. And so truly, thus then, you understand from this perspective, this is that, but from a different point of view. You are the chair, you are the tree, you are the rock. And when I say you, I mean consciousness. Your consciousness is in a hall of mirrors and is getting all these reflections back to you to use in your own way, in whatever way serves you best, whatever way your imagination so desires, whatever way you prefer, whatever way will allow you to experience yourself in a new way, from a new perspective, because that's really the point. It's all that is experiencing itself as all the ways it can be, through each and every one of you, through each and every one of us, through all beings of all kinds, throughout all creation, in all dimensions, in all civilizations, in all realities, physical, non-physical. Anything you can imagine is a reflection of all that is from some point of view. So this is that. And that's that. Thus then, one of the most important things that can occur now in these exchanges, taking into account what we have just said, is the absolute and precise clarification of definitions. Because as we have said, there are many outmoded, outdated, old-fashioned definitions in your reality, and it is some of those definitions that is causing any kind of confusion within you. And clarifying these definitions so that they are more aligned with the actual structure of, I'll say the actual mechanism, if you wish, of creation, will aid and assist you in understanding what these concepts are all about and give you far more ability to understand them very quickly. Because as you have clearer definitions, so you will have clearer insight and understanding. Old and outdated definitions do not help you in the relationship of your being to higher mind or to all that is. Now is the time for you to streamline your definitions and, as you say in your terms of counting, bring them into your 21st century. It is time for metaphysics to grow up. Time for you to use definitions that are true representations of the physics involved so that you can move forward with absolute clarity. With that in mind, allow us to continue with the idea of sharing with your questions, if you wish, so that you have sufficient time within this transmission to explore with us all the definitions you find that might not be working for you and to aid and assist yourself in transforming them into ones that do. Proceed. And before anyone begins speaking, please remember, based on what we just said, even though there may be varying degrees of relevance to what a person may ask, as far as you are concerned, remember, these people that are asking questions are you in a different form. So pay attention, because you can get something out of everything if you are willing to truly be present with everyone. Everything will serve you, even if it is a little tiny bit, a little tiny reflection, it still serves you, and you serve everyone by being part of the orchestration of all of you coming together, because there are no accidents. You are all an orchestration. We are all an orchestration, and together we are creating a symphony. Proceed.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
And to you, good day.
So recently I made the acquaintance of a couple of other templates or personalities or past lives or forward lives or whatever of my
Present
lives. Okay,
yes.
but
as
different
we say,
template.
Yes, as we say, simultaneous, parallel,
incarnations.
SPI, spies.
Simultaneous parallel incarnations.
Yes, you have spies in other lives. Simultaneous parallel incarnation.
Correct.
All right.
Okay, so, and they speak different language than this particular
That's all right.
body does.
You will receive whatever information you need telepathically and translate it in whatever way is relevant for you and application in your reality.
Okay, and...
You don't sound convinced.
Well, no, I believe that to be accurate.
No, all right. And
it can be confusing, too, sometimes.
Co-fusing.
Okay.
Yes.
That's helpful.
So you are examining the idea of what heretofore seemed like polarized ideas, but are now being given an opportunity to understand how they connect, how they blend, and how they issue from the same source at the center, which is you. So your confusion is a positive thing. If you choose to look at it that way, you will get something out of it that is also positive. Yes?
Yes.
All right. So what is the confusion you are experiencing at this moment?
It's my understanding that they have information that could allow me to be more useful.
Useful? Define useful.
Say and do things that with this co-creation thing, are helpful to people.
What definition do you have about yourself that says you're not being useful?
I said more useful.
All right. What definition do you have about yourself that says you're not being useful enough?
I don't know how to answer that.
Sure you do. What is it you believe you need to be more useful in?
I believe that the conflict I notice...
now it's conflict. First it was confusion, now it's conflict.
It tends to be about...
Tends?
Where the...
You mean you choose? There are no tendencies.
When I buy into it.
Why?
it's usually because the reflection of the culture and who I feel myself to be are somehow I feel less than, or like I should be doing more, or if
All
I'm
right,
so
so
cool.
why do you choose to believe that it's true that you're less than? Why do you choose to believe that story? Why don't you tell yourself a different story?
Well, that's what I think this recent acquaintanceship is all about.
All right, then you have attracted into your life the reflection necessary to allow you to become more or appreciate more of who you are, yes?
Right.
All
and
right.
my question really is,
Yes.
do you have any insight or advice that might support my getting to know these people in such a way that when these words come out,
Yes.
that I actually know what they're talking about? Sometimes I do, but
All right.
but I
Well,
don't
do you
all the
believe
time.
that you know what you need to know when you need to know it? Hesitation usually means no.
Maybe
In other words, do you
sometimes.
trust the way your life unfolds or not?
Oh, yes.
Then
Yeah.
you know what you need to know when you need to know it, and what you don't know, you don't need to know. Yes?
Yes, but
Oh, yes, but I want to.
well, it's been a long time. It's been a long.
How long?
Well, a spit compared to the fact that it's all the same time.
Thank you. Why not look at it from that point of view then, if that works better for you?
More often I do.
Well, why
do.
not all the time? That's the question. Why not all the time? Why not? What is the reason you give yourself for it being not all the time? What do you get out of having it not be all the time? Remember, you don't do anything you don't believe serves you in a beneficial way. So even if something you're doing is actually detrimental to you, the only reason you would do it is because you believe it's actually beneficial. Find out what that belief is.
Right. I think it's around protection or lack of
Why do you
vulnerability.
believe you need protection? And protection from what?
The slings and arrows of fate. certainly.
Slings and arrows of fate. What did we say about old-fashioned definitions not serving you? Old-fashioned mythologies no longer being relevant for the 21st century on your planet?
Right.
The slings and arrows of fate.
So if I go back to the quote unquote advice, it's to trust the universe, to trust the templates
Why not?
that the
Do you think they are
use
going
of
to
that
surprise
information
you?
the information will
Yes.
be there when
Do you
I need
think
it.
they are going to somehow do you in? You think that there's a conspiracy in the universe against you?
No.
Well, then why don't you trust it? Why not trust it? You see, you trust all the time. You know that, yes?
Yes.
It's just about what you're trusting in.
Yes.
You don't have to learn to trust. You just have to choose what you trust in. So here's the paradox. If the universe and creation has been more than willing to trust you and support you when you trust in something you don't prefer, if it's willing to do that for you, why wouldn't it support you in something you do prefer?
That's very helpful because since I've been listening to various of your transmissions,
Yes.
the idea of following my excitement,
Yes.
I was sharing with my friend earlier, and when I first heard that, I was very sad. I went, well,
Yes.
where is it? You know, I don't see that anywhere in my life.
And now?
And then these templates came around,
Yes.
and I feel like, well, that's kind of exciting.
Oh, kinda. All right.
So I guess I want to.
Yes. What do you
not be
guess you want?
I don't want to be overrun by it. I want.
All right, now pay attention. Stop there for one moment. Here's a critical piece. All right? You just said, I don't want to be overrun by it, correct? Correct?
Right.
Pay attention. If you actually have a clear definition of excitement, why would that definition contain a variable in which you would be overrun? A definition that contains an idea or a concept that you could be overrun by your excitement isn't a definition of excitement, by definition.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah, that's good.
So pay attention to the definition you have of everything. Listen to what comes out of your mouth. And pay attention to how you're defining things, because that will tell you volumes about what you believe to be true. So when you say, I'm afraid I might be overrun. What you're actually saying, if you stop, step back, take a moment, and listen, is, wait a minute, that means I have a definition of excitement that contains something that is contrary to excitement, and that makes no sense.
Right.
So make sense of the definition. Bring it into logical, sensible focus. The definition of excitement can only contain definitions that are in alignment with excitement. They cannot contain definitions that are not. Because if they do, then whatever that equation is not an equation that equals excitement.
And so if I'm understanding well,
Yes.
perhaps it's like any imagination or visioning that I
Yes.
might do.
Yes.
I get the choice to
Yes.
go in a positive or negative
Yes.
or scary or whatever
Yes,
direction.
of course.
It's,
And it's up to you to decide what you prefer. Now, we understand on your planet that sometimes it's easier, because of the belief systems you have, it's easier for you to discover what it is you are by sometimes attracting what it is you're not. Because very often, thus, then it's easier for you to tell the difference. So that's all right. You can use what you're not to serve you in having a better ability to perceive what it is you are. If you use it that way, it will serve you in a positive way. Even though it's not relevant for you and not compatible with your vibration, you can still get a positive effect from it if you use it in a positive way as a tool.
and that goes to really the heart of what my question is.
Yes.
And I think what you've said is that I know what they're saying, whether it's English or not, that if I just go with that I know,
Yes.
then I'll
And do
start
you
to
need
learn
a
the language
reason?
more.
Do you need any other reason to know that you know?
No.
Thank you. Then that's all there is to it. I understand, because we have observed your society for quite some time, that one of the most difficult things that happens on your planet is the ability to believe that things aren't difficult. That's one of the most difficult things.
Right.
That things are truly simple. It's hard for you to believe that things are truly simple because of the belief system you brought up yourselves in. And thus then you think that if I don't suffer, if I don't struggle, it's not worth anything. Now,
Right.
yes, you will have challenges. Of course you will have challenges, but challenges don't have to be negative.
Right.
But if you understand that you don't have to suffer and struggle and be in pain in order to deserve happiness, then it can be simpler than that. And you can realize that if you simply are willing to know what it is you need to know, just because you say so, then you don't have to invent another reason to justify the fact that you know it to be true for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is this too easy?
No.
Thank you. Does that help you?
I think so.
Do you know so?
I'm trying.
I beg your pardon?
Sure.
I guess so. I think so. I'm trying to. All equal no.
Okay.
I don't know it. You either know it
if I
or you
knew,
don't know
then
it.
that must be why I stood up. Maybe that
Of
was to
course.
be reminded that I do know
Of course. So have you reminded yourself that you can just know what it is you wish to know because you don't need another reason to know it?
it. Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Now, will you act like you know
Yes.
that's true?
Yes.
Thank you. Of course, that's up to you. If you want to make something more difficult, I won't stop you.
Okay.
Our
Thank you.
unconditional love to you.
Oh, thank
You know
so
why?
much. Why?
You deserve it.
Oh, thank you.
Automatically, just by existing. You don't need another reason to deserve it. Make sense? Because believe me, if you didn't deserve unconditional love, you wouldn't exist.